Hello guys and welcome back to Big Brother US, and we've got a lot to talk about in this episode. This episode was crazy from start to finish. There were so many good moments. The star of the show, Angela, really made some choices in this episode, but we're here to break it down, quiz, question all of the contestants, and basically work out what is going on in this Big Brother house. Because what is in the water? I don't know what's happened. We're 4 episodes in and there's already been a crazy argument. So, to talk about the elephant in the room, what's going on with my cheeks? Well, I decided to dry raise my face today, and I think that's caused my skin to go whoa. So yeah, won't be doing that again. But hopefully it's not too obvious. It doesn't look horrendous in real life, but when the cameras are on, it's really like highlighting how red and sort of raw they are. So I'm really sorry, guys. I hope it's okay for today. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying. And let's crack straight on with the episode, shall we? So, after the nominations, Chemo, Lisa, and Kenny were all up on the block. Now, we know that Kenny is her target. The other two are merely pawns in this situation. So, essentially, I was surprised that Angela was going around being like, Chemo, you'll be fine. You're not my target. Kenny is. And then to Lisa, oh, you're not my target. Kenny is. And then to Kenny, you'll be fine. It was really funny and it did make me chuckle. I think there's an element of... I can't work out whether Angela is really good at this game or she's completely hopeless and terrible. And that's what I'm trying to work out at the moment, because there's certain choices that she makes that make me go, I don't know whether I would have said that. But then there's other moments where I'm like, that is a fantastic move because it makes you seem like such a threat. But actually, because you're playing so bold and out in the open and you're so sort of out there, people aren't going to see you as a threat because they can see you coming. Do you know what I mean? So maybe they'll keep you around for a little bit longer. I don't know. It's an interesting strategy that she's got going on at the moment. We'll talk more about that later on in the episodes. But Angela was also really upset that Matt didn't come and give her a hug after the nomination ceremony. Now, do I think this was malicious on Matt's part? Probably not. I think there's probably like a 5% chance that like part of me is like, maybe he did it on purpose. But I do believe that he is a little bit complacent and he is believing that there is actually no threat coming his way from Angela because of that one conversation that he had with her. I'm going to talk more about that conversation a little bit later. Again, I feel like I'm saying a lot of this, but I want to save that for like a whole section, because if you're watching this episode, you know what's coming up. You know what happened in this episode. So we got to keep that for later. We got to keep it. But this is the origin of Angela calling him Crazy Eyes. Crazy Eyes. Oh God, it was a choice, is what it was. Matt kind of does have big eyes when he talks, and he does kind of talk like this. So I can understand why she did call him Crazy Eyes. But I do just think like, oh, did you need to come up with like a little bit of a childish name? Is it hilarious? Yeah, it is funny. But like, was it necessary? No, probably not. So, let's talk alliances. What alliances have been formed in the house since the last episode? Well, you will be surprised, or not so surprised to know, that Matt and Mackenzie are having a little bit of a repartee, chatter, and they are bedmates, or they're sleeping next to each other. Not in the same bed, but in next to beds. How do I feel about this? I feel like it's not gonna last very long. I have a feeling it's like a similar vibe to Riley and Matt, where like, I'll wait for you. That kind of thing. Whereas like, I don't know if there's anything actually there. I find Mackenzie miserably boring. Like, I find her one of the most boring people in the cast currently. I don't think that she's actually that entertaining. And then they brought in Chubby Chaser herself, Leah, and they made a little trio alliance called the Thromance. I feel like they need to start explaining these names because, like, what do you mean the thromance? I don't get it. Like, the thruple would have been more funny than that. But, like, anyway, it doesn't matter. Mackenzie did tell them that she does have America's veto power, which means that both Quinn and Mackenzie have now told people that they have their powers. And I am interested to see whether or not she will use it this week or not. I don't think she will, and obviously Quinn's not going to use his. So I think it's a better decision to save it for a moment where you think you need it. And then if you don't by week 4, just fuck shut up in week 4. You might as well. There's no real sort of downside to it, aside from, like, I had to use this power, otherwise it goes to waste. So, up next, we have an alliance called the Collective. Oh, God. Okay, this alliance has the... It has the necessary requirements to dominate the house. It currently has half of the contestants in one alliance. It's actually very, very strong. They've got Takor, Chelsea, Joseph, Cam, Quinn, Chemo, and Cedric. And then they decided to bring Angela in. I already thought Angela was in an alliance with Chelsea, Joseph, Quinn, and Cedric and Takor. Tikor. I've got to remember to call her Tikor, because in my head the accent, not the accent, the apostrophe is Takor, but it's not, it's Tikor. Maybe I need to start writing it with like a hyphen instead of an apostrophe, because that is throwing my pronunciation off. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The whole idea of this collective group is fun because it's half of the house and they've got a good grasp on the game. However, Angela is growing more and more paranoid, and therefore it's becoming more and more difficult to speak any sense into her. So when I think it was Joseph and Quinn, who have already proved themselves loyal allies of her, they came up and they were like, oh, we want you to be part of the collective. And she was like, oh, yeah, cool. And as soon as they went, she was like, they're lying to me. They're trying to set a trap for me. They're doing this, they're doing that. And I was like, Angela, bestie, you're 4 days into this gig. 4 days. Grow up, please. Because, like, they're not coming after you. Matt might be. Again, we'll talk more about that later. But I need you, please, to just tone it down a little bit. Just a little bit. Just, you're up here, and I need you down here, okay? So, she's obviously not getting enough sleep. She's tossing and turning, and she's essentially deluding herself into believing that every single person in the house is out to get her. Which, this is the issue, is that I feel like Angela has made good connections with most people in the house, but she's not made any solid connections with anyone in the house. The people that she trusts. I think Angela is very much like Kerry from the latest season of UK Big Brother, in the sense of, like, she was a very controversial person. I really enjoyed her, but she had her moments of very sort of outspoken arguments. She was a little bit catty at times, and the public didn't necessarily endear well to her. But I thought she was playing a good game in the house, because she only got nominated week 1. And then the rest of the time, she was fine until the public... Oh, no. She was put up as a pawn. No, she was a pawn. She was nominated as part of the Halloween twist. But anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. My point being, Angela needs to sort herself out. And I think she needs to start making good, solid alliance connections with people. Otherwise, she's going to find herself on the outside. And she's going to find herself in the position that we've seen many, many times before, where she actually has nobody and she ends up being oh, well, who can we get rid of this week? Might as well get rid of Angela. Okay, ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. Whoa. Angela versus Matt. This was a crazy, crazy moment. Was wild. I've watched the full 10-minute clip, so please do not, in the comment section down below, say that I have been swayed by the editing. I have been swayed by XYZ. I have watched the 10-minute version. Okay, I've watched the entire tirade. I've watched the entire scene without it being cut down for time. I personally feel, and this is my hard stance on this, Angela was wrong to have approached this in this way, but everything she said I kind of agreed with. Maybe not everything. Parts I agreed with. And I think this has really exposed Matt as a game player, in my opinion. Because, and this is a big, big, big thing. She comes downstairs and she's like, yo, he threatened me yesterday by saying, like, I've got people that will take me down. Don't even think about putting me up because you might find yourself up on the block as well. And she made that very clear. And then later on, he's like, well, how did I threaten you? How did I threaten you? And she's like, I'm not saying it again. I'm not saying it again. I thought she was clear enough, personally. I did take what he said as a bit of a threat. I don't think he was threatening as a demeanor, but I do think that what he said was a threat and was a don't put me up because you'll regret it kind of thing. It was the same kind of thing that Ainsley did when she was like, vote me in. If you don't, you'll regret it. Woo. It was that kind of thing. Whereas, like, I think the issue is that Angela has kind of mulled it over in her head, and every single time she replays it, the way he says it gets more and more angry, more and more grrr, and it's just spiraled in her head. Now, let's address the crazy eyes comment, because the crazy eyes, that was a lot, I gotta say. I think it's childish, but, like, it is what it is. I'm one of these people that this kind of thing doesn't affect my view on a character, on a person. If they are nasty to someone, I don't believe that Angela was nasty. I believe that she was acting out of hurt and the fact that he's done something to her and she hasn't received an apology from that, and so she's just getting riled up. So, like, I don't know. It's the same thing with, like, in BB24 when Taylor, was it Taylor? I think it was Taylor. Was being essentially was accused of telling I don't even remember her name because that's how irrelevant she was. Thingy to quit the game because I think her mum was ill or something, and she was like, I'd never do that. And then Daniel came in being like, how dare you? You're vile, you're nasty, you're disgusting. That made me hate him. This whole situation has not made me hate Angela. And because I feel like she had a reason to have this argument and be nasty. Whereas with Taylor, it was a complete and utter misunderstanding. So that's the difference in my head. I don't dislike Matt, but there is a lot that is getting cut out of these feeds, and casual viewers are not seeing what he's actually doing. Things like taking her like can of something and drinking it when it's her, it's like her alcohol, I think, White Claw, I don't know what it is. We don't have that in the UK. But him doing it directly to the camera as a spiteful act. He's constantly, like, talking about how they need to get her out of the house, things like that. There's a lot of stuff that is not being shown on the main show, and they're giving him a very favourable edit from what I'm seeing. Because all the clips that I see on my Twitter feed of Matt, of Angela, of everybody, shows a very different story to the one that we're seeing on here. And that is an issue for me, because it shows that there's a manipulation in the editing room, and that's really concerning. So I don't know how we're gonna get past this, but, like, I thought this was a very, very fun moment. It was a great argument. There were some great shots on both sides. The bit where she's like, I just want to have fun with you, except you, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's one of my favourite moments that's ever happened on this show. Just that one little clip. It's hilarious. I'm going to be using it. It's going to become part of my daily vocabulary. If you don't know, by the way, I feel like in the UK, reality shows become part of our vocabulary very, very quickly. And, like, I still to this day, David's dead. Still to this day, get that fire escape door, I'm off. To this day, I'm claustrophobic, Darren. And that's just from one season of Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. That's crazy. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot from the latest Big Brother series in the UK. Craziness. We just collect them. Love Island. So many Love Island terms have been adopted into our culture. Muggy, that's muggy. That's a thing that we say that means like that's a bit off from you. I can't believe you do that. That's a bit muggy. You may just have looked like a bit of a mug there. I really, do you know what I need to start doing? Maybe I should do like a British slang like video or something that's like, here's all our British slang and things that we say that I don't think Americans say. I think that'd be quite funny. So obviously, after the whole argument happened, Matt was having a little bit of a cry in the bathroom with, I think Brooklyn was there, I think Mackenzie was there, I think Kenny was there, I think Chelsea was there, maybe? I don't know. But crying on a reality show, okay, always rubs me up the wrong way. Because I'm always in the back of my head going, is this genuine or is this performative? Is this a case of he knows, Matt, that at some point America is going to have to choose a replacement nominee? So if he appears to be, poor me, then maybe America won't choose him. I think he's smart enough, and he's one of the few people that in the house that knows that that's a twist. And there's also just a couple of other things that he said, like, I can't believe she'd use my mum like that, when he was the one that brought up his own mother in the argument, and that's when she went, I think your mum would be ashamed of you, that kind of thing. So, like, she didn't bring that up, you did. Unless I've misremembered it, I'm fairly certain that's what happened. Because I watched it, like, the argument once, and then I watched it again, just to make extra notes. And I was like, that's not sitting with me right. Because he does go like, oh, I can't believe you used my mum like that later on. And it just doesn't sit right. Also, apparently there was a cut part before the veto meeting in which Angela apologized to Matt privately. And he said, no, I'm not happy with this. I want you to do it publicly. And I was just like, that just doesn't sit right with me as well. She's apologized to you. And yeah, she shouldn't have done it in public, but like the argument, but accept the apology and move on. You're a big boy. Stop acting like a 5-year-old. So, the veto competition. The other two people joining them were Joseph and Brooklyn. But this was a very interesting one. They were basically dressed up as bees, and they had to go around in the honey and find letters to make the longest word because it was a spelling bee. I actually thought that was quite a cool challenge, I won't lie. There were also like little power-up things that allowed you to like delete a letter. So people weren't allowed to use the letter E because Kenny found a delete and an E. And then Lisa deleted H, which I felt was a waste, but we move. So I gotta say, this was a very, very entertaining, fun challenge. Watching them slip and slide everywhere, always hilarious, always fun. And I love watching these challenges because, like, they are actually well constructed. If you guys haven't seen Big Brother UK, one of the tasks in the last series was literally they had to stand out in the rain, and that was it. They just kind of had to endure being in the rain. Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate that there is some production budget put into this, but who won the power of veto? That is a very, very good question. And that person would be Lisa, as she managed to spell a 9-letter word using the letters that she'd found in the honeycombs. Lisa's gonna fuck shit up, is what I'm gonna say, because she's on the block, so she's gonna take herself down, and I think we all know what's gonna happen. But before we get into that, let's actually talk about the veto meeting. So the veto meeting rolled around and rolled around. It did. Lisa did use it on herself, and then Angela put Matt up, which was fairly self-explanatory. But now is the question of who is going to go home. I think it is going to come down to Chemo and Kenny, because I have a feeling that Matt is going to win the AI Battle Dungeon Challenge Arena thing that they've got to do. It all depends on what that challenge is. If it's physical, I think Kenny or Matt might be getting it. If it's more logical brain, then maybe Chemo has a chance. I just want Matt gone. I'm kind of over Matt already. And like it's only been 3 days or 3 episodes. So I don't know. I'm enjoying Angela more, but I'm also worried that Angela is going to now become a target in the house. It's a tricky one. It's a really tricky one. I thought it was going to go one way, but it went the complete opposite way. So I am really enjoying this series so far. I am. But like I think this eviction is going to set the tone for the series. If they get rid of Matt, crazy. If they get rid of Kenny, okay, fairs. If they get rid of Chemo, I'll be shocked and surprised. But I think the majority of the house want Matt out. I don't think Matt has many allies in the house, which I think tells you everything that you need to know. The fact that he doesn't have many allies in the house and Angela does is very, very telling, because they're the ones living it 24/7. We're also the ones watching it 24/7. So I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, I would like to end it there. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, hopefully, for the next episode of Big Brother US. We are going to be talking eviction. We're going to be finding out who is the first person to be evicted from the Big Brother US house this summer. But until then, keep on ranting, and I'll see you guys later. Bye now.